this journey needs to be addressed differently. So the person can look at it and move it from simple conceptual point into the practical application. And I believe that we humans are conditioned to respond to positive rewards. I mean, if a person acts better towards the other and towards his community, he gets positive feedback, he gets reinforced. That behavior becomes reinforced by the community. And every single individual is always looking for a reward to improve his behavior, much like anybody else. And that behavior and that attitude towards the other, oneself, is the core foundation for every person's journey. And I think that us coming from a rural community, which has a family and a tribe, it's very much more profound than in the cities, for example. So I, myself, am identified by my family. But at the same time, my family is recognized by my actions. So through me, my actions, whether they're good or bad, my family is recognized. So this kind of balanced relationship is really vibrant in the communities. And the constant reinforcement from my actions and my community's reactions to my action is one of the driving forces that keeps me going and continuously trying to maintain and sustain this kind of development that I have. And on the second level, a person has to really look at building oneself into not simply as a way of promoting oneself, but actually the ethics themselves and the way we think about others is what makes us all better individuals. This is all good, but putting it into implementation is a challenge. We are all different. We have different capabilities, aspirations. But I believe that what we have achieved, and that is on the ground now, thousands and thousands of individuals, men, women, and children, have started their journey, and we have seen a payback. Of course, to move this into the groundwork and actually put it in a contextual form where the community can feel this change is a bit of a challenge. And we overcame this challenge because, as any community, we have people that are different. Some are driven, others are not driven. Some have leadership qualities, some don't. Some are simply want to improve themselves and develop themselves, build themselves, but they want to keep it in the context of the family. They don't want to move this from family to community and from community to nation. They are very much satisfied to keep it within their own family. But at the same time, there are individuals, men, women, young, old, they have this drive of really making a difference. And that difference is what we capitalize on. So basically, we identify leaders, and we call them knights. These guys, men, women, have started their journey, and they progressed in their journey. They developed themselves. They built their own human quality, and we try to identify these and engage them in projects. So any individual who wants to do something to improve himself or improve his family's status and prove his society doesn't need an invitation. What we have seen is that in Upper Egypt, although we might rank not very high in economic activity, but at the same time, we rank very high in terms of drive and willingness to help. And on the other hand, we have a lot of people who are very much bound by their ethics and moral codes. So this was, for us, the foundation and the platform upon which we have developed Dandara Cultural Center. Now we are in existence since 20 odd years, but the concept itself is much older than that. The concept of a human being changing himself to the better and empowering himself with knowledge and skills to become a better individual is a long-standing concept that many people are contemplating around the world, so we're not the first. But we are trying to put it within a context of a process whereby people start the journey in a process to reach what we all aspire to become better human beings. Now, we at Dandara Cultural Center, we try to identify those knights, those leaders in the community. They can come in many forms, young, old, even we have children that they're taking initiatives. So what we try to do in the Dandara Cultural Center is to foster these individuals and to support them as much as we can. And I'm not talking about support in terms of finance and no, we only try to support these individuals with the skill sets they need and the education they are looking for. And we do that through partnership with many organizations around the world that can support us with education material or with soft skill training courses. And I believe that the AUC has been very much supportive in terms of language skills, the English language courses that they are support at a very, very, very subsidized price. Coming from this platform, once it's set, now we try to tackle challenges that we as a community identify. I believe that one of the main mishaps of a lot of developmental work that we see around us, it comes from outside the community. People who have probably never visited the area where they do the project simply rely on data gathered and statistics, which might not be very relevant to what's on the ground. And they come in to us, and I'm talking as a recipient because I'm a person that comes from a village, Dandara village, and they say, okay, we have this project which is good for you, and we are going to set up the project for you, you guys to improve your, whether it's a social cause or an economic cause. What we have seen is that unless the community is really rallied around such a project or such an initiative, and that initiative addresses serious challenges that the community itself feels that they have such challenge, it doesn't continue. Once the fund dries out or the duration of the project is exercised, it becomes idle and then an activity of the past. It doesn't go anywhere any further. Very few development projects some of them are really doing an excellent job. But what we've seen is that unless you address the community with its own need, identified need, then the sustainability issue will become under question. I believe that in our communities, once we identified the leaders or the knights, we identify the challenge that we have, and we start addressing the challenge using the leaders to manage, support, and engage the rest of the community to move forward with the project. We do not have many cases that of projects that we have undertaken. We focused actually on 2 projects because we've spent years and years and years building the platform of leadership that will support us within the community. And we focused on education, and we took a very elementary step in education through nurseries. And the second one addressed an economic challenge, and we addressed it through a project of pickling. And we chose pickling because it's low tech, and we can engage as many stakeholders as we can, from farmers all the way to distributors on tuk-tuk. So we have tackled these 2 projects, and the way we operate is that we start a pilot project, we run it for a good year or 2. We build all the lessons learned that we need to address, challenges that we need to take care of. We build a supporting team. Then we move the same project to another community or another village. And for the first 6 months, ambassadors of the first project empowered the new location and the guys and the girls in the new location, the leaders, of how to manage that project. And once it's up and running, we keep it for a period and then we duplicate. That system allowed us to have a uniform way of doing things that is very much tuned to our needs and to the capabilities within our community. And I need to mention one thing here. We are very, very fortunate and rich in the number of potential individuals within our communities. And I speak about most of Upper Egypt, starting from Kenya all the way to Nubia. You would be amazed on the number of driven individuals who probably don't have that much means, financial means, but they make up for that with a lot of drive and commitment to the community. And that's why I believe that because of this honesty type of approach from the leaders, the stakeholders in the community are there to support with every means possible to move us and to move these initiatives into a successful shore. Most of the people that you could hear talking when we talk about development, they stop at the challenge of money. I say we need fund, we need money, we need this, we need that, and we have to start with a lot of money to be able to have things successful. I totally disagree. I think money is important, but money is in a lot of abundance, and you'll be surprised that meaningful and impactful initiatives and projects don't need that much money. And I have case to point our nurseries, and that is a program that's been now quite successful. We have a large number of nurseries, and it starts with a simple concept. In Upper Egypt, many families are blessed with 1-2 homes. They have one home, which is the family home, and as they grow in number, they start moving out of that home and building their own homes. So we go to the owner of the home, who is one of the community normal people, and we ask him if he might be interested to give us this house, which is not using or not occupying fully, and we will promote or use his daughter as the principal of the nursery. provided that we give her a training course of how she can manage a nursery. So for him, he's doing something for his community. The daughter is now becoming an important factor of the project. She's the Dandara, she's the principal, so she's getting a lot of enforcement, positive reinforcement from what she's doing. And at the same time, we build the community and we start collecting money. Usually is within around 3,000 to 3,500 pounds to build small desks and to change the water system, which is usually it's a bit old, and the plumbing. And we start very simple, very basic. The concept in it is what we provide the kids with. Not as much the nice place with a lot of nice tools and games and toys and air condition. We don't have this luxury. We're more focused on what we can afford. And the best thing we can provide these kids, young men and women or children, is the enforcement of ethics and values. Just not before we teach them how to read and write and become proficient in learning, we want to focus on the core foundation of a good individual and a good human being. Ethics, values, and we try to link what we teach them with the house. So the mother is very much involved, and if she's not involved in following up with her kids and coming to attend the meeting, we do not accept the kid to join in the nursery. So it's basically, we're trying to make sure that what is being taught is being addressed, because it's important to teach the kid the meaning of truthfulness and honesty. When he goes back home and he finds the behavior of the parents unnoticeably different, so he would have or she would have kind of confusion and bias. So we want to make sure that we're all aligned into what we're teaching our kids. So this is one of our projects that I am very proud of. We started off with trying to beg people to bring their kids to our nursery. Now we have tens of nurseries, and we have a waiting list that we can't even keep up with. Simply because we are going back to basics and teaching kids how to become a better human being, how to accept the other human being, whether he is different from a different tribe or a different family or a different cultural background, different religion. We are all one human race, and we share this earth that we're living in, and we have to coexist, not simply because it's important to coexist, but they have to, and we have to understand the profound meaning of supporting each other, regardless of whatever difference we might have. That is basically one of our projects. The second project, which is pickling. As I said at the beginning, we chose pickling because it's low-tech. Doesn't need a lot of funding and finance with millions to start a pickling unit. The most important is to have a good hygiene and good system of delivery from farm all the way to the shelf. And we started with this project. We had our own challenges at the beginning, quality, finance, packing. But over the period of time, we have overcome these challenges. And we learned a lot from these challenges, actually. We keep it simple. We needed a logo. So what we did was we announced some kind of a competition between school kids on who can give us the nice design. And we use this design because the kid is happy that we use this design, and we are happy that we engage the kids in something that they eventually own, because it's their community. It's not ours, it's theirs. And the name, we called it Hikaya because we believe it's a story that people should know and learn about. And we ourselves have lived through this story, Hikaya. We started off by convincing farmers to grow some of the vegetables that we can pickle. Then the wife of the farmer and his immediate family are the one who goes into further processing, which is cleaning and making it factory gate ready. Then we engage the women in the community. We hire them to start doing the processing of the pickling. Once the pickle is processed and packed, we use the young men and women in the community to distribute. And we have worked a financial model whereby they have a good remuneration that allows them to continue working. And some of them turned it into an interesting business. Once we stayed like this for, I think, 3 years. Then we wanted to grow. We had two options: to go into another location and build another factory. Factory, I mean, just probably 50 by 20 meters location, which is not really, could not be called a factory, but it is a production facility anyway. Or we found a different model that would engage a wider range of stakeholders. We decided to have one shared marketing department, one shared financial department, one shared quality control, and we talked to the ladies around the villages that every lady can come in with 2 barrels, bartamanin kubar, big jars, where we teach her how to pickle at home, and she would pickle these 2 jars, big jars actually, or barrels, in her own home, and we collected from them. We built a system of quality control whereby in every residential area, every 10 houses, there is one lady who's in charge of quality control to make sure that everything is to the standards that we would want to put our brand behind. And the lady has to pay for her own pickles, to buy the vegetables, we source it for her, to use the economies of scale, and she has to get the barrels from the facility itself. The reason why we don't give this for free, even if it's not that much of an investment, she needs to have the commitment and the financial ties to the project. It's her money. So my condition, or our condition, was any money you make, these are mostly mothers, any money you make, it's not for your kids, it's not for buying things to your house, it's not for giving your husband, it's not for buying cigarettes to your husband. It's something, it has to be yours. You make 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds or 600 pounds, doesn't matter how much money you make. This is your money. You want to buy perfume, you want to buy a new robe, you want to do anything you want, it's yours. And that money has to be spent on you to indulge yourself in anything that you would want. You would not believe the amount of women that got engaged into this project and how much they are really committed to the quality, to the timely delivery, and they are proud that this is their money to the point some of the husbands are coming to joke with us that you're now making them financially independent to start arguing with us. We like it, we love it, I think it's positive. And this is how we grew from 10 or 15 tons to now we're multiple of 100 tons. I know that I came to the timing that was allowed to me, and Dr. Ali has allowed me some certain time to be able to address some of the questions that might come from you. Dr. Ali?
Thank you, Hashem. This is very interesting. I just wanted to sort of highlight a few things that you're actually doing just for the participants. First, when you usually work with communities, the first tendency of most people is to go look for the gaps, look at what's wrong, and try to sort of compensate for it. Actually, this does not work. The best approach, which you're actually doing exactly, is to go look what is right, to look at what is strong with the community and capitalize on it. And once you start with this, then you could sort of encroach into other areas and do the corrections that you want later on. The thing that is really interesting, what you have, and I've seen it firsthand, is that this is really a platform, and people always underestimate how long does it take and how much effort and how much creativity does it take to create a platform that enables future innovation, social innovation that is community-led. Now, when I talk about the community-led, I'm talking about a community that is bringing resources. Resources could be financial, could be cash, could be assets, houses. Most important is actually ideas and purpose. And the interesting thing that, again, people might tend to sort of underestimate. I'm not talking here about a rich person who's going to give money, or a rich foundation that's going to give money to a group of people and tell them the road to salvation. This is a group of people, and they are rich. They are rich in terms of ideas, they're rich in terms of time. Even if they don't have financials, they can sort of put money, they can put the resources in. And you can see this in the case of a KG, the nurseries. I mean, again, if you allow me to tell the audience, I mean, when you talk about KGs, the mental capacity, creative capacity of the child, the moral code of the child is actually developed from 3 to 5 or 6 years old. This is the period of time where we tend to put them with babysitters or maids, which is really the most important part. When I looked at the KGs at Markaz Dandara, Thaqafi, this is brilliant. I mean, my first impression, it looks like the KGs that were in Northern Virginia, which is a very top kind of. The only difference was the obvious frugal innovation. Frugal يعني معناها we act according to resources. So the furniture is not expensive. The housing, the finishing are just a bit beefy. It's a rural house, so nothing expensive. Even the toys, when you look at the toys, most of the toys were actually made from local materials. What is really most important is the way you teach, the curriculum, and the teacher, and you have an environment which is conducive. The others are just extra cost. So Markaz Dandara actually, when they're doing this, I'm talking about Hadana with a 700 Egyptian pound per year. And it's actually very effective. When he talked about the pickles, I mean, in addition to sort of the genders, when you go there and you attend discussions and whatever, I mean, you can see that women are actually leaders. They actually have opinion. Now, when you go to the pickles part, again, he looked at what is there, what can they do. Let's get people to work together first. Now, Hashem did not talk about also about their attempts to sort of reuse the waste from the banana trees. I mean, they don't have much of an initiatives, perhaps, but they tend to be across. They tend to be across the coordination itself. Now, I want to just say one thing, and I don't want people to underestimate this. When you're talking about community, there is an issue of coherence, what's going to tie us together. There is an issue of a moral code. When you talk about the moral code that they have, it is extremely strong. They believe in being proactive, they believe in being positive thinking. Don't complain, do something about it. They believe, and he talked about this when he talks about tahsil al-ma'rifi, which is an after-school education. What I saw is that most of the people who are actually volunteering now were actually recipient of this service 5 or 6 or 10 years ago. This is very much the concept of what we call of reciprocity. I'm going to take now when I need, but I'm going to give back when I can afford. It's just, now, why are we doing this? Why Hashem is the first person? I want to just say this, and then we'll open the space for questions. If you have questions, you can sort of type it on your chat box. When we talk about the community development, community-led organizations, initiatives, and the platform is very critical. First, you have to bring an attention to of the concept and why it's important. Now, the other part is you spread the message, and when you have a good example like Markaz Dandara Cultural Center, you're trying to use it as an exemplary case that people could copy from. You could copy from. They have tried things. And I think, when you talk to Hashem, he's very generous. He tell you, come and look at our KG. And he has done that with many of foundations or NGOs that works in education. They go and they observe what he's doing. Now, I just want to give you a caveat. It's not easy just to go and copy, because what you need to really copy is to copy their factory of producing what he calls knights for sand. This is the hard part, is creating the people who will carry the initiative. This is the real hard part, not the initiative itself. So anyway, I'm gonna stop here. Now let's have some questions, and I think I'm gonna pass it to my colleague Kariman, and she's gonna compile some of the questions asked, and she's gonna ask you yourself. She's gonna ask you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kariman?
Oh, tamam. Okay, the first question is about the values that the project has been built on. And then someone else is interested to know the sustainability model for the project. And what are the lessons that you have or advices for others who are interested to do some similar projects? Thank you so much.
Basically, the project is simply a manifestation of me, him, her doing something together. The project could be an economic project, like the pickling. It could be a cultural project, like the educational one in the nursery. Could be anything. What we are trying to find here, or not to find, to reinforce, that we are all starting off by being good people. Every single person, no matter how bad he is, at a point in his life, he was a good human being. The society reinforces the goodness in us, or it helps us try to kind of bypass the goodness into misinterpreting and mislabeling dishonesty with smartness and wittiness. What we're trying to put here is that honesty, truthfulness, the work ethics, these are things that we need to address, and not simply address like we give lectures about, because we can talk from here to next year about honesty, but if you do not feel that honesty is rewarded on a personal level, first, makes me feel good and appreciated by the society. And if I'm known within my society that I'm an honest person, this reinforces my behavior to become more honest and continue being honest. That's what we talk about when we mentioned the sustainability in the behavior itself. It's being continuously reinforced by the community around me, by my family, my tribe, my whole community. And these are the values that we want them to be in practice, not simply in preaching. And I know that this is, it was and has been and will always be an uphill battle, but I am very convinced that people change. We all changed. I personally changed, and many people around me changed. And that change has been positively received and accepted within the communities around us. As we always say that a person with good morals and good skills is himself as a human value, and he's a social icon. So if someone is a human value and a social icon, you don't ask how much money he has. You don't go looking from what family he is or what tribe is he coming from. He himself or she herself is power and a way to be reckoned with. And we have achieved a lot of these individual examples. And they are champions, knights in their own communities. The sustainability on the level of human, I just explained it, and the sustainability in the level of the project itself, because it's a community need, and because it is something that within the community's best interest, it kind of feeds itself to continue. I give you an example. We faced multiple times with the fact that the person who allowed us to use his house, now he needs to sell the house for whatever personal reasons. We cannot stop against that. It's his house. He gave it to us willingly. Of course, after the first year we pay rent, but the value of the house is much more than simply the return he gets on the rent, meager rent that we pay. I put underline meager rent. Once this is known in the community that XYZ is taking away his house, you do not know or imagine the amount of people that come forward. I have this house and I have this, I don't know, shed that I can turn into a nursery, and it's replaced. We don't ask people for it. People come forward. They want to pitch in. They want to be part of this initiative because they know it is in their best interest, their children's best interest, their community's best interest, and that feeds into sustainability. And just to tell you, Dandara Cultural Center has around 64 centers around Upper Egypt and the region. This Dandara Cultural Center, if you want to come and visit us, and I would invite everybody to visit us, it's not this big building with the marble and nicely painted walls and air conditions and computers and desks. This is a cowshed in our house that I cleaned, turned it into Dandara Cultural Center. And I'm insisting to keep it this way because we're moving from a cowshed from agul to aqul, from a cow to the brain. And I'm happy and I'm proud to keep it this way because it's not how much money you want to put in the forefront and the window dressing. It's the actual value that you bring into your community. And people take you the way you are. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be extra eloquent in anything you do. You just have to be genuine. And people appreciate the genuineness. Lesson learned. Identify champions in the community. This is your managers, sales force, organizers, and they are plentiful. Egypt and the most rural areas, whether it's in Egypt or Malawi or Indonesia, rural people still have this touch of genuine feeling of wanting to help others. And that's, you will find it. Just try to be close, monitor close the community that you're addressing. I was talking the other day with a guy who lives abroad for all his years, and he's coming back. He wants to come and help his village, much like many people. I told him, don't go in there with your Western ideas and Mr. Know-it-all. They will reject you. Try to sit down, spend time with them, take your time into knowing the people that you are going to serve, actually listening to them rather than expecting them to listen to you. Listen to them. They're the ones who they know the lay of the ground. They know the problems. They know the challenges. And listen to them. And when they feel that you are really in sync with them in terms of emotional in sync, at least. You're not someone who's coming after years, 20 years in Europe, coming to deal with them from a higher up there status of someone who's seen it all. No. In terms of our community, our land, people who are coming from different areas don't know it. We know. We are the ones who know what we need. Just help us to get what we need. We never ask anybody for money. We don't ask organizations and donors for money. We do not take 1 cent. But we go and tell them, if you want to donate money, if you want to support, pay the people to come and teach us. Pay this individual who we cannot afford to come and teach us. We want knowledge. We want support and knowledge. And that is the key for sustainability, not when the project is over, money runs out and dries out, and the project says, okay, sorry, we can't have money. Invest in knowledge, invest in building the infrastructure of individuals that will support your project. And I believe that this is the key for success in any initiative that has to come from the ground into the ground. Not from outside and coming to our community and tell us, okay, this is what you need. No, we know what we need. We just need you to help us to get what we need. This is my 2 cents take on it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Another round of questions. Someone is actually asking a very interesting question about your recipe or your secrets of creating trustworthy calibers, whom Dr. Ali called the knights. She is asking what's the recipes or what's the secrets of building loyalty and trust and stuff like that. Another question is about what are you planning to do with education given the current situation? I think they mean like the arrangements of pursuing with the educational process given the COVID-19 situation. Another interesting question, someone is asking, is there any future projects for fresh graduates or managers and leaders? And one final question for this round. Someone is asking about examples of other sustainable projects. Thank you so much.
Building trustworthy people. Actually, it's all relative. In a society where you win through through telequra'at, and you get reinforced for that, the number of people of Nasabin is going to be in abundance. But if you get rewarded for doing the good thing and saying the honest stuff, that reinforces the behavior to repeat itself. So I don't have a test for who's honest, who's not honest. Every person is honest and dishonest at the same time. It's your ability to manage things to your own benefit. What we are trying to say is that goodness, regardless of what people might think, is rewarded within the community. If Hashem is a person that is a charlatan or a nassab, his family is going to be paying dearly for that. And my tribe is going to be paying dearly for that. But if Hashem is a good person, it reflects on my family, and in return, it reflects on my own tribe. So this social coherence is one way of supporting our cause. The plan for education, given the COVID-19, actually one of the things that, as I said, the leaders is a self-driven operation now. They immediately built or presented videos for spreading awareness to their communities. A rural area, people like to go and pray 5 times in the mosque. It's very important to go to everybody's funeral. It's extremely important to go to someone's wedding. And the lack of information made us all look at COVID-19 as it's not something very simple, it's not very difficult, it's not going to come to us. It is out there, not ours. So through the videos and the spread of these videos in different communities, and it was very well received, people started feeling responsible that I should protect my family, protect myself, and protect my community, my tribe against this COVID-19. And it did actually, we saw a lot of change in behavior. On the school side or the nursery side, of course, the nursery is an activity that is based on presence of a location. But the beauty of it, when I said at the beginning, is that we're trying to link what the kids' behavior in the nursery to be enforced at home, and we engage the parents. It's the same way we have now continuous support and continuous link with the families and the kids, because when they are home and are sitting at home, the mother have a better chance of looking how they develop, how they behave, how they put the concepts of honesty, truthfulness, the courage to face one's mistakes. It's easier to monitor them, and it's in the link with the ladies who are the young ladies who are in charge of the nurseries, the teachers. So this is an ongoing activity, which reinforces what we want. The other thing is that we have had an initiative or launched an initiative, a cultural initiative. And by the way, we have a cultural forum every year and an economical forum. We don't deal with things complex. We just simply work with concepts like happiness, reading, work ethics in terms of culture. And the reading, we're trying to reinforce it, not as something that we do and we know how important reading is, but we put it into practice. So I believe that staying home have reinforced the reading part in our activities. And by the way, it's not a matter of how many books you have or your ability to read. The young men and women in the family, they gather the parents who are illiterate, who cannot read or write, and they kind of have a group reading. And the father and the mother and the son now who's staying home, we see a lot of this into practice. So basically, these are there is a lot of positive stuff coming out of the lockdown. Looking at future fresh graduate, I believe that the cultural center is a factory for human beings. We simply put the process, the feeding in is me, you, everybody around with all his goods and bad, and he goes into the process when I, you, everybody around the community is trying to this journey of self-improvement. And we are all aware of this journey. It's kind of fun. It's a group thing. We all feel connected to the same journey and the same cause. So the graduates, I am a graduate of yesterday, and you're a graduate of tomorrow. And Hashem of today, I hope. And you of today, you're going to be a better person tomorrow. So every day on a personal level, I graduate, you graduate. But taking a role as a knight or a leader, that is something that you decide based on yourself. And when we say we need an initiative, we have an initiative for XYZ project, you have a lot of interest at the beginning, and bit by bit, only the knights are the ones who carry it through. So it's a factory, and every day there is a human product coming into the market. I just pray that this human product keeps on coming at the flow rate that we see it, because we all need these products, these human products. We all need these human products. The last one, the sustainability of the project, as I said, we undertake projects that are not challenging. We undertake projects that most of the input is human. The interaction between tribes, the interaction between different religion. I mean, in the facility, there is the Christian woman with the Muslim woman. Both of them are co-workers. They have the same journey, by the way. And you would find probably two women of different tribes or different families that probably have outside, within the context of their male-dominated space, a feud. But within this context of them in the production facility together, they live in harmony, and believe it or not, it does affect their husbands in the house. And we have seen a lot of conflict resolution sorted out simply because women intervene with their logic. And by the way, Upper Egypt looks like a male chauvinist or dominated community, but in the fact, women are the driving force and are the decision maker on all fronts, even on deciding who do we take pays for the feud. If we go to the point where there is the star, which is still active and vibrant, who's going to have to be the next to pay the bill? So the sustainability comes from within. We would want and like to take bigger projects, but we believe that the most interestingly challenging project is the human product that we're trying to present to the community. We have some in the pipeline, some project like Dr. Ali has mentioned. Kenya has a lot of banana plantations, and banana is one of the plantations that has a lot of wastes. We took the wastes from composting, and we developed it into more mature of making fabrics out of the banana fibers. And we have now furniture, we have banana chips, and we have moved into making garments out of the banana fibers. Is this a big project? No. Is this a project that we can duplicate? No. But it was one of the ideas that was locally presented as an innovation to solve an environmental problem. And we felt that, why not? Let's take it. And we looked at the Far East, rural areas in the Far East. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. In one of our cultural forums, we have asked people to come from the Far East to present this project, to teach us how to do it. And it only cost us their travel tickets and their accommodation expenses, which is basically living in our houses. And now the project is ongoing. We try to pick and choose projects that are easy to duplicate, and it's not high tech, and it can engage as many individuals as possible in terms of job creation. So I hope I answered the question.
It's been really enlightening. I just want to comment on a few things.
Please do.
You've been very humble, by the way. Yeah, and actually, we've only showed the development of human مادة وموضوع التنمية. They look at the human being from 4 aspects. الإنسان روح ونفس وجسد. You're talking about a real balanced view of a human being. One of really the brilliant quotes, and everybody believes it there, this is really the core of sustainable development. They talk about علم بأخلاق زائد عمل بإخلاص equals تنمية مستدامة. Knowledge with ethics, working with devotion is equal sustainable development. Now, I had the privilege to go to some of their sort of economic forum. The topics are really, he calls it simple. I mean, for me, it's just brilliant. I mean, this is what we need. One of them was وقتي رأس مالي. My capital is my time. When you think about involuntarism, we tell volunteers, time is the most important thing. I could replace assets. I could replace money. I cannot replace time. If it's gone, it's gone. So when they talk about وقتي رأس مالي, this is really deep thinking. And you're talking about youth who actually believes in this. أخلاقيات العمل, working ethics. We lack this in Egypt. I mean, I've heard Hashem talks many times about one of their competitive advantage when they offer their product is the ethics, work ethics. Now, the other thing, last year they were talking about إخفاق طريق النجاح. I mean, if you're into entrepreneurship, you talk about failure. Fail often to succeed faster. This is the idea of إخفاق. They had to cancel. They were supposed to have on the 24th their cultural forum. The topic was about al-iltizam. It's a very interesting. I mean, if after, with your permission, I will send you like a copy of an article he wrote in Masri اليوم about al-iltizam. Now, another interesting thing about this cultural forum, way before the mandate came from the Prime Minister, they canceled their cultural forum. It's a social awareness and social responsibility premium. I mean, at its best, I'm doing this because I care about my people. I care about others. It's not because it's mandated because of a Prime Minister or anybody. Now, I would really encourage you, if you allow me, to go to their Facebook and look at some of their video clips that Amir Hashem was talking about. You're gonna see Sayyida Saidiyya, Doctora, and she's actually talking to people about the value of isolation, the value of not allowing kids to sort of mingle. She's talking about the keeping physical distance as a way of preventing, but she's doing this in a very convincing way. بتتكلم بلهجة صعيدية، بتتكلم بطريقة الناس هيفهموها, and from a technical point of view, she's very sound. So anyway, I can talk forever. I mean, I'm a little biased toward what they do, because for me, this is really one of how I got educated about community-driven initiatives. Now, I really thank you. This is, I hope, what we've done in the last part compensated for the act of hacking that went before. And I promise you this is not going to happen again. We'll try to take measures, more security measures to prevent this from going. Next week, we're going to have Alan Fowler. Alan Fowler is going to talk about the future. It's going to be more horizontal. Now, when he's talking about horizontal, he's talking about that we're going to be looking more around than up, which is exactly what Hashem is doing. The community foundations or community-led, you look around you look for people similar to you. Where could you group resources or get resources to achieve something? You don't look for the government or for a rich donor to do things for you. And we think at Gerhard Center, we think this is the way forward. And having examples like Markaz Dandara Saqafi to start with is really just a pleasure. Hashem, it's really like a delight to sort of have you with us and to start with you. And as always, we're really indebted for you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Just a closing word. Dr. Ali has given me personally too much credit I don't think I deserve. The real credit should go to the young men and women who are really making this possible, and proving day after day that a good human being who's got ethics and he's empowered is a product, is a human product that every single individual is looking for. I thank you very much for giving me this chance and giving the Dandara Cultural Center the chance. And stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, guys, and thank you for holding up with us after the farce in the beginning, and I apologize for it. And we hope to see most of you and more next time. Thank you again. Stay home and stay safe. وكل سنة وانتم طيبين. رمضان كريم. Thank you.